Now, in all mankind, there is more or less of this ojas is stored up, and all the forces that are working in this body in the highest form become ojas. You must remember that it is only a question of transformation. The same force which is working outside as electricity or magnetism will become changed into inner force. The same forces that are working as muscular energy will be changed into ojas. The yogis say that that part of the human energy which is expressed as sex energy in sexual functions, sexual thought, and so on, when checked and controlled, easily becomes changed into ojas. And as this lowest center is the one which guides all these functions, therefore, the yogi pays particular attention to that center. He tries to take up all this sexual energy and convert it into ojas. It is only the chaste man or woman who can make the ojas rise and become stored in the brain, and that is why chastity has always been considered the highest virtue, because man feels that if he is unchaste, spirituality goes away, he loses mental vigor and strong moral stamina. That is why in all of the religious orders in the world that have produced spiritual giants, you will always find this intense chastity insisted upon. That is why the monks came into existence, giving up marriage. There must be perfect chastity in thought, word, and deed. Without it, the practice of Raja Yoga is dangerous and may lead to insanity if people practice Raja Yoga and at the same time lead an impure life. How can they expect to become yogis? Chapter 6 of Raja Yoga, Pratyahara and Dharana. The next step is called Pratyahara. What is this? You know how perceptions come. First of all, there are the external instruments, then the internal organs acting in the body through the brain centers, and there is the mind. When these come together and attach themselves to some external thing, then we perceive that thing. At the same time, it is a very difficult thing to concentrate the mind and attach it to one organ only. The mind is a slave. We hear be good and be good and be good taught all over the world. There is hardly a child born in any country in the world who has not been told to do not steal, do not tell a lie, but nobody tells the child how he can help it. Talking will never do it. Why should he not become a thief? We do not teach him how not to steal. We simply tell him to not steal. How, when we teach him to control his mind, do we really help him? All actions, internal and external, occur when the mind joins itself to certain centers, which centers all called the organs. Willingly or unwillingly, it is drawn to join itself to the centered, and that is why people do foolish deeds and feel misery, which, if the mind were under control, they would not do. What would be the result of controlling the mind if then would not join itself to the centers of perception? And naturally, feeling and willing would be under control. It is clear so far. Is it possible? It is perfectly possible. You see it in modern times. The faith healers teach people to deny misery and pain and evil. Their philosophy is rather roundabout, but it is a part of yoga into which they have somehow stumbled. In those cases where they succeed in making a person throw off suffering by denying in it, they have really taught a part of pratyahara, as they have made the mind of the person taught strong enough to refuse to take up the record of the senses. The hypnotists, in a similar manner, by their suggestion, excite in the patient a sort of morbid pratyahara for the time being. The so called hypnotic suggestion can only act upon a diseased body and a clouded mind, and until the operator, by means of fixed gaze or otherwise, has succeeded in putting the mind of the subject in a sort of passive, morbid condition, his suggestions never work.